My name is Peter Moore. I am now a founding owner of Santa Barbara Sky Football Club in Santa Barbara, California. Prior to this, I worked at Unity, which is a game engine company, for 2 years developing volumetric capture technologies. Prior to that, I was in Liverpool as CEO of Liverpool Football Club. Prior to that, I was Electronic Arts, EA, for 10 years, president of EA Sports. Prior to that, I ran Xbox in Seattle and launched the Xbox 360. Prior to that, I was at Sega of America in San Francisco and launched the Sega Dreamcast. And then prior to that, I was at Reebok in Boston and I was head of global sports marketing for Reebok.
Bueno, ¿qué les puedo decir de alguien que se presenta de esa manera? Porque es simplemente un honor tener a una leyenda del mundo del entretenimiento, de los videojuegos, del electrónico, aquí conmigo en un increíble pop, The Duke. Thank you very much, Peter. Right now, in 2023, how do you see the video game industry? Before everything that you live, everything that you launch, how do you see this video game industry?
Well, it's interesting, and it's a great question, because I joined the industry in late 1998, and it was still an industry, a medium, an entertainment medium that was mocked, was made fun of, was despised by parents because it was taking kids away from what they felt important. And I was very fortunate to join the industry then. Online through the Sega Dreamcast was just happening. Obviously then moved on to Microsoft and Xbox Live, and games like Halo are starting to become blockbusters. So in other words, it was bigger than this kind of niche medium of games which teenage boys played and then grew out of. And it was very quickly becoming the biggest entertainment medium in the world, which it now is. All projections would be that by the time we finish this year, this could be a $200 billion industry. It's fueled by new business models, free to play like Fortnite, new platforms, mobile. Everybody's a gamer. Everybody's got games on their mobile phone. New markets, Latin America, which I've been coming here for many, many years in my previous life with EA and with Xbox. Starting now with technology catching up and everybody having access to high-speed internet, everybody having a smartphone. Now you're seeing huge growth here in the Latin American market. And so from what I can see now over the next few years, whether it's virtual reality, augmented reality, streaming of video games, subscription business models, the continued growth of mobile, all of that coming together to make this by far the biggest entertainment medium in the world, which it already is. But also stretching that demographic. It's no longer young men and women, it's people my age that are playing games and loving games. And at a time where this world is so divisive and where we have so many issues, to be able to play against people you don't know anywhere else in the world and have fun with them, I think it's really important that games exist nowadays, and it is the one medium that can bring us all together. Television doesn't do that, movies don't do that. They're still very linear and individual ways of sitting there and watching. Games brings us all together, no matter who we are, where we are, how much money we have, what our ethnic background is. It doesn't matter, you're a gamer, and I think that's important.
Now, when you launched the Xbox 360, you became a legend because you changed the way of the marketing of video game as was made. And I remember your tattoos of Halo 2 or Grand Theft Auto. How do you think that you play this part on the game, of the video games marketing? How do you think that you change all the video game industry maybe with these kind of actions like the Halo tattoo with the Grand Theft Auto that was huge marketing for that titles?
Yeah, I think what we were really focused then. I was brought to Microsoft from Sega because I wasn't your typical Microsoft employee. I was feisty, a challenger brand, which we were at Sega, and I love being a challenger brand. You can throw some punches. It's entertainment, so it needs to be fun. It needs to be irreverent. You needed to do things that would break out of the monotony of marketing, of print, television. You needed to make a splash. And so whether it's tattoos of Halo and Grand Theft Auto 4, we needed to do things very differently and set ourselves apart from movies and music and television. And I also wanted to kind of go to war with PlayStation, if you will, because these were high stakes and are high stakes launches. And over a period of 5, 6, 7 years of the cycle of the console, it's tens of billions of dollars that are at stake. So my job was to bring attention to Halo. This was at E3, the big trade show in Los Angeles. And certainly what I think it did, we ended up on the front pages, not on the back pages, on the front pages. And still to this day, and you bring up Halo, it's 19 years ago, 2 days ago, when Halo was launched on November 9th. So you think about that, it still feels like yesterday to me.
You was one of the most important persons that launched FIFA when you was in EA, and FIFA became the legend of FIFA, because FIFA was great, but when you was in charge of EA Sports, FIFA grew up like beer, you know, like. How do you see now EAFC? How do you see now this rupture with FIFA brand? Because for me, it's the same game without the name.
So what's happened is the recognition in the end that we had at EA that FIFA, we built FIFA. You ask a kid here in Mexico City, you say FIFA, they say video game. Yeah. They don't say the Federation of International Football Association. So we, EA Sports, was the best thing that ever happened. But and you're right, and during that period, we were nose to nose with Pro Evo Soccer, the Konami game. And we had built FIFA. So what happens in marketing, you kind of back yourself a little bit into a corner. You invest everything in the FIFA brand, which you built. It's not your intellectual property. And then I think towards certainly the end of my time there, we were constantly asking the question of, do we need FIFA? What do we get for FIFA for a very large check that we would write them every year? What do we get? And so what we started to do during my period there, doing exclusive deals with the Premier League in England, with the Bundesliga in Germany, with La Liga in Spain, with Serie A in Italy, with Liga MX here in Mexico, doing these deals. So you have that level of authenticity in the game to where FIFA became irrelevant. And we start to do an analysis of what do you get from FIFA for your very large amount of money? Not a lot. And you have to have the courage in marketing to go, 30 years of FIFA, it's time for us to move on and build our own brand, EA Sports FC.
While you are in Mexico, we know that there is EGS this weekend.
Yes. Yeah, I come down. I used to come down here all the time when I was at EA and even at Xbox in those days. And I've always loved the Latin American market. Finally now, the biggest challenge when we started to go online was the infrastructure wasn't here. Nobody, had access to high-speed broadband, which you were needing to play online gaming. Now it is. And the growth in Latin American gaming, particularly in the mobile phone element of things, which everybody has here, and that growth, I saw some statistics the other day, 80% of mobile phone owners in Latin America play video games on their phone. The rest of the world is 69%. So it's very much, as mobile continues to grow, Latin America has embraced mobile faster than some parts of Western Europe and the US, because it's always been an easy way to communicate. And you weren't reliant on broadband to your house. You just relied on the cell network. Telmex or whoever it was, Telefonica, and so this is where gaming is starting to explode here, and the growth projections that I've seen for Latin America, let's call it Mexico, South America, the Caribbean together, is immense, and this is the biggest growth market in the world right now. That projects to be 10% compound annual growth rate over the next few years. So I'm excited. I love coming here. I will be at EGS on Friday, telling stories, meeting gamers. So I'm really excited.
It's awesome. Well, thank you very much for this interview. It's an honor to have
Thank
you
you,
here.
Fernando.
And I hope to see you more here in Mexico to talk about video games and soccer and, of course, pubs.
The pubs, exactly. Thank you, Fernando. It's a
Thank you
pleasure.
very much. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers. Cheers for that.